Inter-Airport Europe is marking a major milestone, 25 years of accelerating airport innovation and partnerships. Join us from 7 to 9 October in Munich as we bring together the world's leading airport suppliers and service providers, alongside top aviation leaders and regional decision-makers, to showcase the most transformative technologies shaping the future of the industry. This key event for the global airport sector will feature a dedicated conference and awards program. Over 3 days, it will help airports streamline their infrastructure, systems and processes whilst meeting rising costs and compliance. Don't miss this milestone edition of Inter-Airport Europe, where the future of airport innovation begins.
Welcome to EVA News.
Hey there. Today we're taking a closer look, really getting into the weeds of executive and VIP aviation. We've spent some time digging through the latest news, all the research, the reports, trying to pull out the key advancements and, the big challenges too. Plus some, frankly, surprising developments shaping this really fast-moving sector. Our mission today: cut through all that noise, give you the vital insights, make sure you're truly well-informed. So, okay, let's unpack this week's most compelling news from the world of business aviation.
Absolutely. And I think what we're going to see, what's really striking, is how deeply interconnected these stories are. They're not just, isolated things happening. They really paint a picture collectively of a very dynamic industry. It's evolving fast. We'll touch on everything from major infrastructure overhauls to the really cutting-edge tech making flights smarter, and even how global market shifts are, creating both opportunities and some new hurdles. The goal is for you to walk away with a clearer sense of the bigger picture, understand the implications.
Right. Let's start with the ground game, because the very foundation of aviation, it feels like it's shifting in some pretty profound ways. We're seeing these, ambitious plans to redefine everything, from how air traffic is managed to the airports themselves. Take the FAA, for example. They're actively searching for a central integrator for what they're calling a sweeping air traffic control modernization campaign. That doesn't sound small.
No, not at all. And they're very clear. This isn't just, a simple upgrade. They're genuinely aiming for a paradigm shift. That's the term they use. A fundamental change in how these massive critical infrastructure projects get coordinated, how they get executed.
Wow. Imagine the ambition there. And it's not just about the controllers and the towers, right? Physical airports are part of this too. There's a recent Brookings Institute report arguing for tax reforms to push U.S. commercial airports towards more public-private partnerships, P3s. For listeners maybe less familiar, P3 is basically where private companies jump in, invest, operate public infrastructure alongside the government.
Exactly. And Brookings argues this model could, and I quote, unlock major infrastructure and pension funding. So the idea is bringing in private money, private sector efficiency, perhaps, for these huge projects that might otherwise struggle for funding. So yeah, we're talking fundamental changes, things that could really impact efficiency, travel times.
Maybe even open up new investment angles.
Could be. It's true. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, stepping back a bit, these aren't just isolated upgrades happening randomly. They feel like part of a larger global push, making aviation from the ground up safer and more efficient. And beyond these really big infrastructure plans, we're already seeing digital tools optimizing what's already there. Like Airplex recently joined the Paragon Aviation Group.
Okay, what does that mean practically?
Airplex brings its advanced ramp optimization and scheduling technology. Think smart software for managing aircraft on the ground. They're bringing this to Paragon's FBO network. FBOs, fixed-base operators, they're the ground support hubs for private jets. So this tech isn't just managing logistics. It's using AI for predictive efficiency, tackling potential delays, fuel use before they happen. It's bringing that cockpit-level sophistication down to the tarmac.
Interesting. So smarter ground ops through tech.
Exactly. And it's not just tech. It's also about operational excellence standards. For instance, Universal Aviation London Stansted just hit ISBAH Stage 3 certification. Now, ISBAH is the international standard for business aircraft handling. Stage 3 is the top tier. It basically proves they have this robust, world-class safety management system baked into everything they do on the ground, a real gold standard. And we're also seeing regional shifts, like Bulgaria and Romania joining the Schengen area. That's expected to, spur more business aviation opportunities in Southeast Europe, new travel routes opening up. But it also kind of shines a light on the challenges, the existing regional infrastructure and skills gaps. So the demand might increase, but the support system, the infrastructure, the trained personnel, they need to catch up for the region to really benefit.
That's a really good point about the ecosystem needing to keep pace. And yeah, as crucial as that ground game is, the real magic, or at least the most direct experience for you, the traveler, happens airborne.
So let's shift to the tech transforming the flight itself, because here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The stuff making flight smarter, safer, more comfortable. We're seeing advances from the cockpit right through to the cabin.
Definitely.
Like this AI system from Embry-Riddle, get this. It uses speech recognition and natural language processing, NLP, to clarify, to standardize communication between the cockpit and ATC. Think about how easily miscommunication can happen, right?
Yeah.
Especially in busy skies under pressure.
So this system promises safer, real-time radio exchanges. It flags ambiguous words, maybe cross-checks commands automatically. The goal is cutting down those critical pilot-ATC misunderstandings. That seems like a huge leap for safety.
It absolutely is. Massive potential impact there. And kind of building on that theme of connectivity and making things clearer, smarter, the cabin experience is also getting a major boost. Gulfstream, for example, just installed its 100th Starlink system, high-speed internet, on a G650ER, one of their big long-range jets.
Starlink, wow. So proper internet.
Proper internet, ultra-low latency, powerful in-flight Wi-Fi. That's the promise. And complementing that, Viasat's JetXP service is rolling out 5 times more internet capacity for business jets over the eastern U.S. So what this means for you, whether you're flying for work or leisure, is, well, you can be just as connected up there as down here. Think seamless video calls, streaming shows without buffering. It really changes what you can do at that time.
Yeah, that kind of solid connectivity genuinely redefines the whole in-flight experience. No more patchy Wi-Fi. But it's not just comfort, is it? These tech leaps push the whole industry. What else are we seeing? How are luxury and function blending? And how important is rapid innovation in services like maintenance?
That's a great question, because it's not just the plane itself, it's the whole support system around it, the life cycle. And yes, we're seeing a real blend of, let's say, high-end luxury and practical functionality. Take a recent Gulfstream G550 interior job, done by VIP Completions and Yodazine. Sure, it had custom design, fancy lighting, but what really stood out was the turnaround. Just 8 weeks. That speed, combined with high quality, shows how service capabilities are evolving, meeting that demand for personalization without grounding the jet for ages.
8 weeks is fast for a full interior.
It really is. And then there's the less glamorous but absolutely critical side, MRO, maintenance, repair, and overhaul. That's evolving fast, too. There was a recent maintenance roundtable, industry leaders talking about growing data use and safety management system, SMS adoption in maintenance. SMS is basically a structured way to manage safety risks. Applying that with more data makes maintenance more predictive. So fixing things before they break, not just after.
More proactive, less reactive. Makes sense.
Exactly. And we're seeing MRO capabilities expanding globally. ExecuJet MRO services in the Middle East, for instance, just got approval from India's regulator, the DGCA, for major work on the Falcon 6X. That shows growing sophistication, growing demand in places like the Middle East and India. And Zenith Aviation joined Honeywell's MSP channel partner network, means they can do engine and APU work in-house now. Faster turnarounds. It's all geared towards keeping these complex machines not just luxurious, but safe, reliable, and back in the air quickly.
Right, keeping the assets flying safely. It's clear the industry is pushing hard on all fronts. Comfort, safety, efficiency. Okay, let's zoom out again. Look at the broader market dynamics. Business aviation trends, growth milestones, and how the industry's, well, reacting to global pressures. Embraer, for one, just hit a big number. Their 2,000th business jet delivery. It was a Praetor 500. That's not just a statistic, right? It signals pretty strong global demand, especially for those mid-sized jets where Embraer is strong. Definitely a significant milestone, shows market health. And strategically, we're seeing some big moves. Consolidation. World Connect is buying Universal Weather and Aviation's trip support services for $220 million. That's a hefty sum.
Yeah, that's a major deal.
And it's not just about the money. It significantly boosts World Connect's muscle in flight support, ground services, the essential stuff for business jet operators globally.
Points towards consolidation, maybe aiming for more streamlined, integrated services.
Seems likely. And business aviation isn't just growing quietly. It's advocating for itself. The European Business Aviation Association, EBAA, launched this campaign called Climbing Fast Europe. It's basically making the case for the sector's societal and economic role, especially with stricter regulations possibly coming down the pike, highlighting value, connectivity, economic impact. So these trends, these deals, the advocacy, they're all shaping the future landscape. And ultimately, that affects you, the traveler.
It is fascinating, isn't it, seeing the industry juggle all these things? What's fascinating here is the industry's dual focus, celebrating growth and efficiency on one side, and on the other, really grappling with environmental responsibility and, frankly, real-time security threats. On the green front, look at Daher, the French aerospace group. They put out a really ambitious climate roadmap. They're targeting a 50% cut in greenhouse gases by 2032, big interim goals, more use of sustainable aviation fuel.
50% by 2032 sounds very ambitious.
It is, and it's commendable, but it also raises that important question. What are the real hurdles? How does the whole industry actually achieve these kinds of goals widely? It's not just about setting targets. It needs huge collaboration, innovation right across the fuel supply chain, engine tech, operations.
A massive coordinated effort.
Exactly. Then you have security. And we got a stark reminder recently, a charter jet carrying the European Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen, its GPS got jammed. On arrival in Bulgaria, suspected Russian interference was mentioned in the reports. The pilots had to switch to, traditional navigation, old school methods.
Oh, they landed safely.
They did, thankfully, landed safely. But it really highlights this ongoing vulnerability. The need for vigilance, for robust security, backup systems. It shows a real evolving threat that pilots and operators have to deal with. Even with all the advanced tech, basics like navigation skills, preparedness, still absolutely critical.
Yeah, that incident is definitely a sobering reminder of the complexities involved.
Yeah.
So looking ahead, how is the industry actually preparing for tomorrow? We've touched on tech, but what about people? What are entirely new types of aircraft? The National Aviation Hall of Fame, for example, is expanding its educational work, using stories of aviation legends, new STEM programs, trying to inspire the next generation.
Which is vital.
Absolutely vital, because aviation, like a lot of tech fields, faces a potential talent shortage down the road. Getting kids into science, tech, engineering, math. It's crucial for the industry's future health. And we saw that ACA internship program at London Biggin Hill Airport. 15 young people getting real hands-on industry exposure.
Practical experience, that's key.
Exactly. Those kinds of programs are essential. Cultivating the next wave of pilots, engineers, technicians, ground crew. And then on the really futuristic side, we're seeing serious moves toward new kinds of air mobility. Patrick Kequi, who used to head up EASE, the European Union Aviation Safety Agency, he just joined the board of Vertical Aerospace.
The EVTOL company.
Right. His role is specifically about strengthening their regulatory and certification guidance. They're aiming for a 2028 VX4 eVTOL launch.
Yeah.
Now, eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, basically electric air taxis, getting someone like Kai involved signals how serious this is. Bringing these things to market isn't just about the tech working. It's about navigating that incredibly complex safety and regulatory maze.
Absolutely critical. Certification is everything for new aircraft types. Shows they're planning properly for that long road. And look, as we innovate, as we bring in these new types of aircraft, managing risk proactively becomes even more vital. Osprey Flight Solutions, they specialize in aviation risk analytics. They just raised over £40 million. That money is to expand their predictive AI-driven risk system for airlines, for regulators globally.
So using AI to predict risks.
Yeah, things like geopolitical instability affecting routes, severe weather patterns, even operational safety trends. Being predictive, not just reactive, investing in that kind of foresight, that intelligence, it's crucial for handling emerging threats. It helps ensure that all these exciting innovations we've been talking about, that they're part of a future for aviation that's not just innovative, but also genuinely sustainable and secure.
Right. Sustainable and secure. That seems key. So as you've heard, it's been a pretty packed deep dive into business aviation today. We've covered a lot of ground, from massive infrastructure modernization to that explosion in in-flight tech, making journeys safer, more connected. We've seen a dynamic market, growth, big strategic plays, but also critical challenges, sustainability, security, and all this while the industry is actively trying to build its future. Cultivating talent, embracing visionary ideas like eVTOLs. We really hope this discussion has given you a clearer, more informed perspective on this incredible, constantly changing industry.
And maybe just a final thought to leave you with. As business aviation keeps pushing these boundaries, technology, efficiency, connectivity, how do you think these advancements will ultimately reshape what all of us expect from air travel? Think about convenience, connectivity, even safety. not just for executives, but potentially filtering down, changing expectations for everyone who flies?
That is a really interesting question to ponder. What does the cutting edge today mean for the mainstream tomorrow? Definitely something to think about. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it valuable, and we encourage you to keep exploring the fascinating world of aviation.